Have you ever seen those pictures online of beaches with blindingly white sand and water that's just impossibly blue? Well, that place is real, it's in India, and it's called Lakshadweep. But let's be honest, figuring out how to actually get there can feel a little tricky. Don't worry, that's what we're here for. We're gonna break it all down. So, that's the big question, right? How do you visit a place that's so protected? See, visiting Lakshadweep isn't as easy as just booking a flight and showing up. It's a preserved paradise, which means there are a few hoops to jump through, but that's exactly what keeps it so special and unspoiled. So let's figure this out together.
First off, just a quick intro to what we're talking about. This is India's smallest union territory. It's this incredible chain of 36 coral islands just kind of floating in the Arabian Sea. And get this, only 11 of them actually have people living on them. That tells you just how remote and untouched this place really is. It's famous for those postcard-perfect lagoons and beaches. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what makes this place so magical. Then, we'll get into the two biggest questions you probably have: permits and the best time to go. After that, we'll cover how to get there, what to do once you're on the ground, and finally, the important stuff: the budget and some must-know tips.
So, what's all the buzz about? What really makes Lakshadweep a destination that's completely different from anywhere else?
Well, it's way out there, about 400 kilometers off the coast of Kerala, and that remoteness is its superpower. This is not the place you go for packed clubs or tourist traps. Nope, this is where you go to actually disconnect, to see nature at its absolute purest, and to find a kind of quiet that's almost impossible to find these days.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Now, if you're seriously thinking about a trip, you're going to want to pay close attention to this part. It's probably the most important. Before you even look at flights or hotels, you need a permit. This is non-negotiable for anyone who isn't a resident. Just think of it as your golden ticket into paradise. Seriously, no permit, no entry. It's as simple as that.
Now, how do you get one? Well, step one is the part that usually confuses people. You need sponsorship. That means a local resident, or more realistically, your hotel, or an authorized travel agent has to vouch for you. Once that's sorted, you can apply online, upload your documents, pay the fee, and then you just have to wait. Honestly, the easiest way to do all of this is to just go through a good travel agent. They make it totally painless.
And the cost for the permit itself is surprisingly low. We're talking a 50 rupee application fee and a 200 rupee heritage fee per adult. That's a tiny price for getting access to such an incredible place. Now, when should you go? Timing is everything here. You want to aim for that sweet spot between October and the middle of May. Why? Because that's the dry season. The seas are super calm, the weather is gorgeous, and it's just perfect for all the things you want to do there, like scuba diving and snorkeling in those amazing lagoons.
Okay, so you've got your permit sorted and you know when you're going. Now, how do you physically get to this remote cluster of islands?
You basically have two choices: fly or sail. Flying is the fast and direct option. The only airport is on Agatti Island, and you can catch a flight from Kochi that takes about an hour and a half. Easy. The other option is to go by sea, which is a whole experience in itself. Ships and cruises leave from places like Kochi and Mumbai, and it takes about 14 to 18 hours. It's slower for sure, but that journey across the Arabian Sea is something you won't forget.
And if you do choose the sea route, you've got a couple of flavors to pick from. The government ships have these cool packages, like Samudram, where you actually live on the ship and just do day trips to the islands. Or you can go the luxury route with a private cruise line like Cordelia. Just know that with most of those, the cruise is the main event, and you'll typically just visit one island for the day instead of staying there.
All right, you've made it. Now for the really fun part: exploring the islands and diving headfirst into all the awesome things to do. So each island has its own personality. Agatti is where you'll arrive, it's the gateway. Kavaratti is the capital, so it's the most developed. Bangaram is this beautiful resort island, and here's a fun fact: it's the only place in the entire territory where you can legally get a drink. Then there's Minicoy, way down south, which feels totally different with its unique culture. And Thinakara? Oh, that's just pure, empty paradise, perfect for a quiet day trip. And this, right here, is why people fall in love with Lakshadweep. The water sports are out of this world, and you know what? They're really affordable. Scuba diving in water this clear is a bucket list experience, and it's one of the best and cheapest places in India to do it. But really, from parasailings, just paddling around in a kayak, there's something for everyone.
Okay, let's bring it all together. How much is all this going to cost? Let's talk about the final pieces of the puzzle: your budget, where to stay, and some tips you absolutely cannot miss.
So, a typical budget is going to break down something like this. Your biggest costs, no surprise, are going to be your flights or your cruise, and then your accommodation. Those are the two big ones. After that, you've got your activities, food, and other small costs. If you can get those first two planned out well, you'll have a much better handle on your total spending.
So what's the bottom line? For a short trip, say about 3 days, you could be looking at anywhere from 25,000 rupees per person on the budget end, all the way up to around 60,000 if you're going for a more high-end luxury experience. That should give you a pretty solid range to start planning with.
And finally, please listen to these essential tips. Book everything way in advance, like 3 or 4 months out, because things fill up fast. Get ready for a digital detox. BSNL is your only real shot at a signal, and it's slow. Remember the alcohol rule, only on Bangaram. Carry cash because ATMs are few and far between. Pack everything you think you might need, especially sunscreen and medicine, because there are very few shops. And I'll say it one more time, using a travel agent really does make the whole permit and booking process completely stress-free.
You know, a trip to Lakshadweep is so much more than a vacation. It's a chance to truly disconnect from all the noise, to see an ecosystem that's been cared for so well, and to experience a side of India that most people never get to see. So really, the only question left is, are you ready for it?